It was junior year of college when everything started. My friends and I had lucked out with our housing assignment that semester. We ended up together in a suite on campus that felt more like a mini apartment than a dorm. It was one of those corner units, 4 individual bedrooms, a shared common room with a threadbare couch and battered coffee table, and a kitchenette that barely had space for more than 2 people at a time. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. For the first few weeks, everything felt right. Familiar faces, late-night movie sessions, group dinners made with questionable ingredients and even more questionable hygiene. College life at its most authentic. Originally, the suite had included our friend Cody. He was one of our closest boys, always cracking jokes and supplying us with takeout coupons. But partway into the semester, he decided to move off campus to an apartment with another friend of his. Something about wanting more privacy and fewer rules. With Cody gone, the school didn't waste time assigning a new occupant to the now vacant room. That's when Rodney entered the picture. He moved in on a rainy Thursday afternoon. I remember because I'd just come back from a brutal lab and saw him in the hallway dragging 2 oversized duffel bags behind him. He looked average, I guess, if not a little off, in a way I couldn't immediately put my finger on. Tall, maybe 6 feet 4 inches, with short blonde hair, pale skin, a patchy light beard that never seemed fully committed to growing in, and eyebrows so faint they were almost invisible. He had a medium build but towered over all of us. He nodded politely when we crossed paths, offered a few dry words, nothing rude, just flat. Then he vanished into the room at the end of the hall, right next to mine. For the first few days, he kept entirely to himself. No effort to join our hangouts in the common room, no presence in the group chats or casual sweet banter. We figured maybe he was shy or introverted and decided to give him space. That changed about a week in. I came back from class one afternoon to find Rodney sitting alone in the common room. The blinds were drawn halfway, casting long streaks of light and shadow across the carpet. He turned toward me like he'd been waiting. "Hey," he said, "can I tell you something?" I froze, slightly caught off guard. Sure?" Rodney leaned forward a little and lowered his voice, as though he were confessing a secret. "I have parasomnia," he said. I blinked, unfamiliar with the term. He must have noticed the confusion on my face because he quickly explained. "It's a sleep disorder. Sometimes I talk in my sleep, yell even, night terrors. And I've been known to sleepwalk. I just wanted to let you know. So you don't get freaked out or think I'm trying to scare anyone?" I nodded slowly, unsure how to respond. I appreciated the heads up, I suppose, but the entire conversation left me feeling uneasy. This was the first real one-on-one interaction we'd had, and it wasn't a friendly introduction or an invite to get to know each other. It was a warning. Later that evening, I messaged the group chat. Cody was still in it, even though he'd moved out. I asked if Rodney had talked to anyone else about his condition. "Nope," one of my roommates replied. "Dude, what?" another added. "Lamau, what's parasomnia?" Cody chimed in. The whole thing became a joke for them, and I couldn't help but laugh a little too. But deep down, the whole situation unsettled me more than I wanted to admit. That night was the first time I heard the knock. It came around 3 a.m., a soft, measured knock on my door. Not frantic, not loud, just deliberate. I sat up in bed and called out, "Who is it?" Silence. No reply. I lay back down, heart beating a little faster than before. I told myself it was probably nothing. Maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe it was one of the guys messing around. But I couldn't shake the thought that it had been Rodney. His room was right next to mine after all. In the morning, I asked the others if they'd knocked. Both of them said no. Cody, of course, found the whole thing hilarious. I didn't. 2 nights later, it happened again. I woke up around 2 a.m. this time, for no apparent reason. Just jolted awake with that strange, heavy awareness you get when something feels off. I checked my phone, blinked at the time, and that's when I heard the footsteps, soft but unmistakable, moving just outside my door. Then the knock. Same rhythm, same quiet insistence. I didn't say anything this time. I just lay there, frozen, staring at the ceiling, waiting for it to stop. It did, eventually. As soon as I could move again, I grabbed my phone and messaged the group chat. "It just happened again. 2 a.m. knock. I swear it's Rodney. No one responded until morning. They hadn't heard anything. I decided to confront Rodney directly. Later that day, I knocked on his door. He answered, looking groggy but lucid. "Hey," I said, "have you been walking around at night, knocking on doors?" He blinked. "No, not that I remember," he said, then paused. "I probably should have mentioned. I sometimes sleepwalk too." "Sorry, man. It's harmless though, I promise. Nothing to worry about." I nodded, but I didn't feel reassured. I locked my door every night after that. For a few days, things were quiet, peaceful even. I started to let my guard down. And then came the night that I still think about to this day. I woke up again to the sound of breathing. Not mine. It was faint, raspy, and coming from the far end of the room. I slowly turned my head and nearly jumped out of my skin. Rodney was standing in the corner of my room, facing the wall. His arms hung limply at his sides. His head twitched slightly as he muttered something under his breath. At first, I couldn't make it out. Then the words grew clearer. "Open the door! Open the door!" I sat up, heart pounding. "Rodney," I said, barely above a whisper. He turned his head toward me but didn't seem to actually see me. His eyes looked blank, glassy. He kept muttering, then smiled. This eerie, unnatural smile. And then he laughed. It was quiet, but it sent a chill right through my body. Without another word, he turned and walked out of my room. I was still trying to process what I'd just seen when I heard it. This loud, violent banging erupting from the hallway, followed by Rodney's voice, no longer quiet or distant, but screaming. "Open the door! Open the door!" I ran to the common room and saw him at the far end of the suite, pounding on one of my roommate's doors like a man possessed. His fists slammed the wood over and over as he howled the same words over and over. My roommates came out, alarmed and bleary-eyed, and we all rushed to grab Rodney, trying to shake him awake. Finally, he stopped. His face went slack. He looked at each of us with vacant eyes and said, "I'm sorry, guys," before walking back to his room and closing the door behind him. We stood in stunned silence. None of us said a word. 10 minutes later, campus police knocked on our door. A neighbor must have reported the screaming. We explained everything. Rodney spoke with them privately for a while. Then he returned to his room. I double-checked my lock that night 3 times before going to bed. By the next day, Rodney was gone. His room was empty. No bags, no goodbye. It was like he had never been there at all. I still don't know what to make of it. Maybe he really did suffer from parasomnia. Maybe sleepwalking can look like that. But I've never seen anything like it since. And honestly, it didn't feel like sleepwalking. It felt like something else entirely.